Hey, ready for bread? I tried, after making the sprouted grain flour, I tried using a standard all-purpose flour recipe. I did it exactly the way I always did with the all-purpose flour, and I ended up with really short, really dense, gummy bricks. So let's try again. This is a whole wheat recipe that came with, I'll type it down below, but it came with the flour mill. So let's get started. Okay, in this bowl is 2 cups of warm water, a 1/4 cup, it says vegetable oil. I don't use vegetable oil. So it's a 1/4 cup of olive oil and a 1/4 cup of honey, and it's warm. It might even be too warm, but we'll just get going. It says to mix these ingredients in a bowl and half the flour. So I have 2 cups of my flour here. I have a tablespoon of yeast, and this is my absolute favorite yeast ever. I love the fact that I can buy this since it's vacuum sealed, and I can keep it on my shelf forever until I open it. And then once I open it, I use a little paper clip. I put it in a baggie, and then I put it in the freezer, and it lasts forever because I don't make bread all the time. So anyway, love this yeast. So I have a tablespoon of yeast in here and 2 teaspoons of salt. So let's add these together. There. It's going to be messy. I probably could have used a whisk, but I hate cleaning anything dough-like out of a whisk since I am the dishwasher. I don't have an electric dishwasher. So go slow, be careful. The recipe actually calls for using a mixer. I love my KitchenAid. I absolutely love my KitchenAid mixer. But just in case you don't have a KitchenAid, I thought I would do this by hand. So you have to make this into a smooth batter, or at least relatively smooth. Okay, this might not be too bad for my whisk. Let me go get my whisk. Okay, let's see if this does better. You want to break up all the clumps of flour, because by now the salt is probably already dissolved since the water's so warm. So we just have to worry about the flour. So it looks like you want it to look like really, really runny, non-lumpy pancake batter. And then it says in the recipe, it says after you do this, for better texture and flavor, which I'm going to do because my bread yesterday was freaking awful. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. I was so disappointed. It's been so long since I have thoroughly messed up bread like that. It was slightly gummy, but it wasn't rubbery. I couldn't have bounced it off the floor like some breads that I've made in the past. But it was just wet and squishy and sticky and freaking awful. Yeah, like I said in the flour video, not even my dog would eat it. So, you know that's bad since he'll eat anything. Okay, so now that it's all mixed, we will let it sit for 30 minutes and then I'll be back. Look at this beautiful bubbling batter. That's just gorgeous. That shows you that your yeast is working properly. Look at it's all foamy. Oh, just gorgeous. Okay, now it's time to mix in the rest of your flour. So, I'm not sure I'll have enough of my, I'm not sure I'll have enough of the flour that I just milled since I blew through like 6 cups of it yesterday, making it really awful bread. But, so, I will start doing this. Just do 1 cup at a time. Mix it in. Get it until it's no longer wet. And then I will start recording again when I'm close to being done. Keep in mind, I'm probably going to have to incorporate all-purpose flour. Okay, this is about at the point where it's time to get your hands messy. So, spread some flour on your work surface and dump this out. Just remember to remove your rings first. Well, any rings that will get, that could be a pain in the rear when it comes to cleaning them and removing dough from them. And now is the time to start kneading in the extra flour. You just put this here. Make sure you have some on your hands. Add it in. Until you get enough flour on this, it will stick to your hands. And then don't be real rough. Just do this. You know, don't stretch it way the hell out here. Even though I have seen that done before, it's when you're using all-purpose flour, I am a lot rougher. I am afraid after yesterday's experience and oh my gosh, those paperweights that I made, I'm afraid of doing this too much. See, I really didn't add a lot of flour. This measuring cup holds maybe 1/4 cup. And I put one of those on the board first. And if you're wondering what the hell's wrong with her flour, well, I had, before I got the grain mill, I had, it was flaked wheat. I had never heard of that before. So I bought some and I thought, wonder how my blender will do. And that's about how well my blender did. Looks like bugs. I swear it's not. And since it wasn't a lot, I just threw it in with my all-purpose flour. And you want to do this until it is smooth and elastic. You saw it in the beginning. It looked like some really messed up Play-Doh. And you don't want to add too much flour at once because you don't want it to get too tough, which it will do that. If you keep, sorry, my hair. If you keep incorporating more and more flour, it will eventually get so tough that you'll end up with paperweights. And it will be hard and dense. And at least that one is more edible than the crap I made yesterday. Anyway, yeah, right now it's getting to the point where, you know, you saw it. It looked kind of dry. It wasn't sticking in my hands anymore. Now it's almost kind of wanting to stick to my hands again. But I don't want to add too much flour all at once. So just do this. And keep going. I'm not touching my phone right now because my hands are gross. So I will continue filming. We'll see if I'll edit some of this out later or do time lapse. I was reading after my fiasco yesterday. Since I'm not used to using whole wheat flour of any kind, whether it's my own or buying it, some bread form. They said it usually takes more kneading to really get the gluten to activate properly. So just add, like I said, a little bit of flour at a time. Make sure you fold. But yeah, notice I'm not really pulling it way the heck over here. I'm just folding it back in on itself. And as long as it's not sticking to my hand, which it is, or to the board, then I won't add any flour, but obviously I need a little bit. Now, this is much, much faster and easier in a KitchenAid mixer or similar, or if you were gifted a bread machine, you could actually use it for the bulk of this. You don't let it bake it. You just you throw everything in there and let it do all the work. And that's what my mother-in-law does. She just throws everything in the bread machine and then pulls it out, forms the loaves, and bakes it. And now it's sticky again. I don't know if you noticed, it took a lot longer to get sticky this time. So let's just add a little bit. sticking again. Whenever you do this, you want to knead it to the point where you don't see any visible flour. You don't want the flour on the outside. Pretty that's getting. And just in case you can't tell, what I'm doing is turning it, basically folding it in half and pushing. Because I'm not pushing too hard, it's still incorporating air into the dough itself. Okay. It's not as pretty as I would like it, but since I've never really worked with, try a little bit more. I've never really worked with whole wheat flour before. I'm not sure just how far to take it. It's supposed to be smooth and elastic. Oh, my arm's getting tired. Okay, I'm going to call this good. I think most of these little marks aren't from me tearing, pushing on the dough, but from the flour itself. Now, you cut this in half. take some greased pans. These pans are 9 inches from here to here and 5 inches across. Okay, form this into a loaf. Go like this. Roll it up. Let's see how we do. Roll it up, pinch and fold under the ends, and put it in the pan. So I'm just flattening this a little bit. Rolling it up. Pinching this on the bottom. Pinching the ends and folding them. See, like that. Then put it in the pan. And then cover it. And you let it rise for an hour. Or until double the size. So it should be up here. We'll see. Sorry, I forgot to tell you what to cover it with. I love these basic, cheap shop towels that I got from, they're microfiber shop towels that I got from, I think it was an auto parts store. These are my hand towels now for just about everything in the kitchen, except anything really oily, just because that's the only time we use paper towels anymore. But anyway, cover it with a cloth, keep it somewhere warm, and come back in an hour. So look at these beauties. They're not an inch thick. This is just after an hour of rising. Now to bake at 350 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes. Look, I have bread. I could have cooked it a little bit longer. I did it for 30 minutes instead of 40. But look at that. It's so tasty. I'm so happy. You need to try it.